Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Vivid Minds, the podcast where we explore the powerful connection between business, finance, and sustainability. I'm your host Fariha Afrin. Today is our second episode. We will be discussing about green business and green finance, and today's episode is extra special. I am thrilled to be joined by IFA Chairman Ma'am, an expert in social compliance and sustainability ESG with over 23 years of experience. As a SA8000 lead auditor, she specializes in GRS audits, HICFM, and FSLM assessments, and CTPAT compliance, with a deep understanding of labor laws and ESG principles, especially in Bangladesh. Today, we will discuss how sustainability, green business practices, and green finance are shaping the future of business. Ifat ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you on Vivid Minds. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the green business of the sector. Thank you.
Ma'am, let's start with the basics, and I want to ask you the questions from green business. What does green business really mean, and why should it be a priority for companies today?
Actually, if I talk about green business very simply, we must say that it's to reduce its impact, the business we are doing, whatever business it is, we are doing to reduce impact on the environment. So how we can do it? So at the same time, we have to do profit during business, and we have to run a business smoothly, which will not pollute the environment. So if we can use resources efficiently, like reuse, we always say recycle, produce less waste and recycle it. And if we are cautious about consuming electricity, water, then it will have less impact on environment. That's how any business can be actually green business. So the moral is that improving how you use energy, water, chemicals, and raw materials, you will pollute environment less. So therefore, you will become a green business industry.
So it's not about just doing good for the environment, it's also about doing good for the business. So, what
Yes.
what do you think are some of the most impactful changes businesses can make to go green without disrupting their operations too much?
I think this is a very, very good question, actually. Uh, uh, at this point of time, because we can see the global changes due to environment impact. So energy efficiency is the first. So if they, like, for example, if we change all the lights we are using with the normal lights with LED lights, so that will consume less energy or electricity. Waste reduction is a very beginning of the product, whatever product it is, whatever raw materials they're using. If they use sustainable raw materials, first of all, which can be reused, the waste can be reused, and uh, if reduction of waste, of course, it's obviously depends on consumption. If we use less uh, production material, then there will be less waste. So for every step of production, have to be cautious what we are doing. So less waste, less raw material use with high productive production, that has to be kept in mind. And then there will be less waste. Then sustainable sourcing, we also mentioned that we have to find out in the market who are using sustainable products or less harmful to the environment. So like in agriculture, there are a lot of insecticides used. So there are some very harmful and some are less. So we have to research on the market and then use. It might be a little bit expensive, but end of the day, my production or my business will have less effect, bad effect, I will say, in the environment. Then telecommunicating can be another option that work, or so there will be, if we uh, say for example come 2 days in office and 3 days from home, wherever possible, not every sector, I will say, then there will be less consumption of everything, resource use, I mean, energy, electricity, water, gas, whatever it is. So there will be less consumption. Then eco-friendly packaging is a very important. We are all aware of the polythene and the plastics we are using. So eco-friendly, there are organizations who are using eco-friendly or environment-friendly raw materials. So that is water conservation, already mentioned. So if we can consume less water and keep in mind and keep track of the records, because we know we are wasting a lot of water. These resources are very limited: gas, water, electricity we might produce, but gas and water we cannot actually create. This is natural resource. And employee engagement also very important, because we have to be, everyone should be aware what is, how environment is polluted, how we can take part in the less pollution in the environment. So awareness and training. Then transportation, another important thing, sustainable transportation. We are aware that electrical cars or this is also coming, though it will consume electricity, but save environment. Then carbon offsetting is very important. So carbon emission and green certification can be another uh, source where I can prove that, we know everyone has to prove that, yes, I am green. So how we will prove that? So for certification, we also need, whenever we declare or we call that, yes, my factory is green or my business is green. So certification is sometimes important to prove that.
Making sustainable changes sounds great, but for many businesses, it can be a challenge. What would you say are the biggest hurdles businesses face when trying to adopt green business practices?
This is a question which every business person will ask actually. Yes, of course. It's a little bit. It might be a little bit high cost to make a business green, because you have to use like bit expensive, or rather comparing with whatever raw material or whatever we are using, little price cost is of course. But end of the day, what we say always that these initiatives to save environment, you will not see a, after one day, that today I have used less water or less electricity, tomorrow I will see the impact. It's not like a production that cuts you and you pack and garments is ready. It's not like that. So, or whatever product is ready, it's like you will see the impact in the long run. So obviously, when the green practice, any business try to adopt green practices, obviously it will have a perception of high cost, but many companies are now reducing prices. So market research is a very important thing. And of course, you have to use modern technology. If we still running the old machines or equipments, and we want the high efficiency and want to be a green, that will be little bit difficult, because we all know that old machines will have a lot of I will say might cause a lot of problems, and it might not be like environment friendly even. That if we are using a diesel generator, that will obviously not be environment friendly if we compare or electric generator. So this is technology is important is another thing. So we must be very we must know what we want to do actually. Knowledge is very important, and expert hand has to be there. So these are very important, because the person who has no knowledge about how I can make this machinery or what machinery to be purchased to make it environment friendly, then obviously I will buy maybe high uh, price machinery, but it has low impact on the environment conservation. And third can be resistance to change. This is very important, because we are human being. We don't want to change. We have a mindset sometimes that things what we have we are used to do. So we are not very much friendly, I will say, to make changes of our habits. So that is also another hurdles for the business. And limited time and resources, of course, a reason, because we have to sometimes have to do much more production within less time or tight schedule. So we are lack of resources, like for many raw materials, we are dependent on other countries like India, China, Vietnam, Turkey, sometime. So that also killing time. And then we try to use whatever available, and sometimes we have to wait. So that is also important. Like, it is connected with actually supplier limitation, and sometimes there are suppliers, but they, since not many business entities asking for this sort of raw materials or machineries, so they don't bring a lot of supplies. So there is a scarcity of supplies also. So we have to wait some time for the manufacturer from the manufacturer. And regularity and reporting complexity. So we don't have a very, I will say, clear environmental law, to be honest. And from the uh, government side, there is a lot of controversial statements actually, how they are doing these environmental inspections, or how much we are, on the other hand, if even if we are certified, so business we are not getting that much. So that is also a point where business entities do not want to be 100% green, because there is no assurity or guarantee that after being green you will get that much of business. There is a question mark. So because we know that Bangladesh has the highest number of green factories, but if we consider the business volume, it's not up to the mark till now. I think these are the basic reasons: cost concern, knowledge plan gaps, sorry, resistance to change, resource constraints, and supply chain limitations. These are the key points, actually.
That makes sense, ma'am. For businesses that might be hesitant to invest in sustainability due to these perceived costs, how can they overcome these barriers and see the value of going green in the long run?
Uh, First, actually, company should start with low cost, high impact actions like energy efficiency. They can improve. What actually, this is actually repeating what I am telling. It's a repetition. In every question, there will be a repetition. Reducing waste, what I mentioned. the wastewater from the dying sections, uh, which is which can not for consumption, like for drinking water, but this can be used in the toilets. We can for because we it can be used because this drinkable sometime. Some have the ETP plants are so good that it is by drinking, but we rather not do that. Or some factories, what they're doing is they're reusing this in the washing also, in their washing facilities. So this is very important, and there are some should be done regular follow-up because sometimes there is leakage or the ETP is not. These have actually impact immediately. And second is return on investment, what already discussed. So there can be some rules or some proposals that if some factories or some business entity is doing good or green, they will get some um, tax reduction or some business confirmation, or while order is coming, they will get the priority, something like that. So it's like an incentive for them. That can be another thing. And return on investment can be also that it's same like if I am using LED lights, so I can return my normal lights or bulbs and then get some incentive or reduction in the price. That can be. And in the long run, or sorry, in the beginning, they can start with small projects, how it goes. So then it will not have a big impact on the business. So they can partially start uh, green concept in maybe in one floor, in the one production floor, and then see the impact, how much it reduces his or her business cost. Then they can start gradually for the other floors, because if we want everything together, that will have more cost consuming. That will be more cost consuming. And they can also you signed or agreement that I am doing this sort of project, or I am planning to have one factory green. They can have some business conversation or agreement with the customers that in my green factory, products or something like this. I think there has to be, the business people has to be very talented, I will say, because they have to keep in mind that they have to do business, they have to do profit, and on the other hand, or parallelly, they have to save the environment. So everything has to be together. So it will be their call to plan and go for execution.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. That was interesting. And now just dive into the another part, our green finance. For a business that's just getting started with the sustainability, what would you suggest as the first steps to accessing in green finance, and what does it mean?
Green finance. Green finance, actually, for a business, green finance, there are some particular first steps actually, that you understand the green finance options first. It's that we have to be familiarized what is different types of green finance available. Then like green loans can be there, grants and bonds, specifically aimed at funding sustainable initiatives. So that's where green financing we said. So in a nutshell or in a very simple word, we can say that to make a green project or business, whatever financing we can get, whatever financing available, that can be called green finance options. So, so first we have to develop a sustainability plan. So there must be a comprehensive sustainability strategy, then outline the goals and proposal and make a project and expected outcomes. So it is like a project proposal actually to get a grant, or because it's a kind of loan or funding we are asking for. So we have to create a sustainable or green project proposal. So which will feel these financial companies that, okay, this is sustainable, this project, yes, we can do funding here. So same like any other loans that for as you know, for new car purchase, we can get a higher loan. And for old car, if say you have a car and I want to buy, and if I apply that I want a car loan, that I will not get actually, because this is a used car I'm buying, so I have to go for a personal loan. But for new car, it has more value, so bank will invest on that. But old car, it is already old, so there will be no
Right.
bank will not be interested for car loan, but rather personal loan. And of course, research on funding sources. That is very important because we have to, I don't think much of our financial investment companies are giving this sort of loan. So we have to do some research. Sometimes funding can be from outside also, but International Finance Corporation, IFC, has a lot of projects. So whoever wants to want to have this sort of funding, they must research on in the market which are the sources where there is funding. And they have to network obviously and build relationship with those companies, because all of a sudden if I go, nobody knows my company or myself, they will not give loans. So we have to do some groundwork actually, and build relationship. Then documentation is very important for every the project proposal we are doing. That has to accompany with all documents, proper documentation, like any license and information, the impact we are talking about, that has to be a valid impact analysis by analyst. It's not like in paper I'm writing everything and it has actually, there is no proof that this can happen. So somebody should be expert, or people should be there, and guidance of course needed. It's similar like to build a good, uh, strong building. We need a very good engineer, civil engineer. So it's similar like this. To build a very green factory, you have to have the expert opinions and their guidance. Some what I experienced sometime, that in the beginning, while proposal creating and everything they do, take those experts, and when the funding comes, they get rid of those experts because they are a bit expensive. So they start doing themselves and then they do a lot of mistakes and follow-ups are not properly done. So it's a bit problem. It's a bit problem because whenever you get funding, you had this expert and their opinion. But now, if any crisis comes, so you have no solution actually, because you don't have the expert anymore with them. So this is also a problem. So from the beginning to the end of the project, you must have some proper guidance from the expert people. And if you want to hand over it, like if we want to create the second generation, that a group of people or the person has to be well trained so they can run the green business smoothly. I'd say if they follow these steps, so their sustainable journey and invest for a green project
And,
or business, it will run smoothly.
and they can make measurable outcomes then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
As we look to the future, what trends do you see emerging in green business and green finance?
Mm, can you repeat the question, please?
Uh, what trends do you see emerging in green business and green finance? The trends.
Oh, okay. I'll say looking ahead, several important trends are shaping the future of green business and green finance. One major trend is the growing shift, growing shift from voluntary sustainability to mandatory reporting. So earlier it was some voluntary, but now some rules, regulations are coming. So it is becoming mandatory. More government and global buyers are requiring because EU has a lot of changes are coming. So we are looking ahead to 2030 actually. We have to do a lot of changes and green initiative or sustainable business. This is one of the key point for 2030 goal actually. Buyer are requiring companies to disclose their carbon emissions, carbon footprint, resources, use, and environmental risks. So this means sustainability will become a core part of business actually in near future, I will say. 2030 is like tomorrow. We are talking about 5 years plan actually. But if we do not take the initiative now, uh, we cannot reach the goal in 2030, and many business entity might lose business or orders. So we all are actually looking forward to this, and sustainable SDG goals are also there. Another big trend is rapid rise of renewable energy and energy efficiency. So this is like we want to go for solar from electrical part. So there are solar vehicles are coming. Then solar panels we are talking about. Consume solar, install solar panels in the house, also in business um, premises, in the factory premises. Maybe it will become mandatory, though it is bit expensive for now and you need a lot of space to install solar panels. And energy systems are becoming actually cheaper and smarter, I'll say, because solar system is much more cheaper than electricity. Initial installation bit high, but depends on the capacity actually. And I think all brands or buyers or consumers, everyone is pushing business to adapt cleaner technologies and cut costs and reduce emissions. What we are talking about. We know about the controlling of HEAG FEM, we call it. So, like for garments trade, for our business entity, we can say it's a mandatory, and verification was not earlier mandatory. It was only monitoring was mandatory, or the measuring the carbon emission, everything was mandatory, but nowadays it has become mandatory for verification. So you have to do a third party verification that whatever I am telling is true. What I told earlier, that we need some certification to verify that yes, whatever I am claiming, it is actually the truth, the only truth the business entity is talking about. And green finance, we already talked about. So if green finance is there, so it has to be measurable. Without measuring, green finance they will not do actually funding. And circular economy also a model can be. So it is called repair, reuse, recycle, and designing the products for longer life. reduce waste, and what I already mentioned, that create new product from the wastes. So not a single portion of the production process waste goes in vain. So everything we can use. That has to be the plan. Overall, the future is forwarding toward more transparency, measurable impact, cleaner industry, technology, and wider access to green finance. So all sizes of business, I would say, are pushed to operate more responsibly and competitively.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. The meeting will be ending in next 7 minutes. My last question is, uh, there are many opportunities are coming for entrepreneurs or small business owners who may be feeling overwhelmed by all of these. What's one simple step they can take today to start integrating sustainability in their business operations?
Simple steps. Actually, whatever we talked about, I will say gradually, if they take every step, because within a day they cannot become a good. Sorry, they cannot become a green factory in a day. So the for small business owners who may be feeling that they will lose business, or there is a possibility of loss in the business, and they want to take step. So they can, what in a simple word we can say that high impact actions they can take, and easy to implement. So simplest one of the simplest way is focus on reducing energy. So what is it? That switching to LED lighting, turning off equipments whenever they are not in use. Same goes for water consumption. Do not waste water whenever you are using, or with less use. For an example, less use of water. So that is like earlier for car washing, we were opening the tap and keep it open for the. Now you can use a bucket, keep water there, and with a mug or any other things, and you can use less water. So like these small tips, you can save money, reduce resources, and you will have a good impact. So this is for small business, this is a very uh, small steps actually, or quick, which will have less, uh, I will say, less investment, but more impact in
More.
your business. Yeah.
Thank
So,
you,
and
ma'am.
gradually from step by step, they can.
Thank you, ma'am. That's for all. And that's it for today's episode on green business and green finance. I hope you found the insights helpful. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with others. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and take care. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallahu khair.